just kind of continuing on the theme we're on here with, corruption and BS. And I want to show you this this graphic I picked up off of Twitter the other day. Check this out. This is insane. So I took the music out of it because I don't want to get a copyright charge, but I don't know if you can see this. But basically, this is an animated graphic of expenditures, U.S. foreign aid expenditures since 1946. And if you watch up here, as the year changes, you can see things start to change. And in this little key down here, it'll show you that, these are the blue countries are Middle Eastern but watch what happens in 1970. You see this dark horse come flying up from the bottom. 68, 1971. There it is. Watch that little blue mark just fly up the charts. Boom. So, first of all, why were we giving that much money to the UK? It was probably post World War II destruction and stuff, and then there's Vietnam is on there for a while, obviously, because we're rebuilding that. And it just, if you watch this chart, you're like, oh, this gives the scam away even better, because these are all money laundering ops. This is why Congress supports every war that we do. And I've said this before, but name a war that the US did and won and did well, or improved something since World War II. I would love to hear one, because I can't think of any, and there's been a lot of them. Anyway, keep watching this. There it goes. That blue line just keeps getting longer. Where are we at? 86. I think once you get to the 1990s, it just really takes off too. That's when Clinton got in. There it goes. Just keep on going. Not going to stop. I think Ukraine starts to pop in once you get to the 2020s too. Now we're at 99. That line's still growing at the top. It shot up from the 70s and just never stopped absorbing your tax dollars. When you see this chart too, you have to ask yourself, every time they claim that we can't afford something, how do we afford that? You're like, oh yeah, hey, we could really use healthcare down here. No, we can't afford that, guys. Sorry. Why can't we afford it? Oh, because Israel has national healthcare. They have public. Israel literally has public healthcare. They literally have the same kind of socialized medicine system that the UK and Canada have in Israel that we pay for, and we can't have that here. And you know why? It's because of the moneyed interests that would be affected by it. It's just like everything. I just showed you Dick Cheney. That's the reason we can't have peace in Ukraine, because Cheney wants the shale rights in the eastern part of Russia. They're going to start a nuclear war with Russia because Dick Cheney's a greedy pig, basically. And the Democrats are all on board with it. And I did a piece a couple weeks ago about how the Democrats are completely neocons. And if you haven't seen the Steve Bannon, David Frum debate that I took that last clip from, of him talking about Antifa being undercover cops, go watch that. Again, big props to Royce White, Call Me Crazy podcast for posting that. If you haven't seen his show, check that out too. But I mean, this is insane. And so I did that just to set up. This is a speech that Susan Sarandon did recently at a Palestinian protest. And I just thought it was, first of all, I think it's very brave of her to do this. I mean, she's at the end of her career too. So she, I think, has a little more leeway than a younger celebrity would to do something like this and to say the kind of things she says. But listen, it's pretty short and it's pretty damn good.
Free Palestine, and we are with them here in New York City. Next, I want to bring to a stage someone who is not only has a platform, but is using it to show solidarity with the Palestinian people, come what may. I want to bring to the stage Susan Sarandon.
Thank you, and welcome all you soggy people. Napoleon said, and this is Napoleon Bonaparte, not the Napoleon Dynamite. He said, war is when the government tells you who your enemy is. Revolution is when you figure it out for yourself.
I just want to backtrack on that just a little bit because that's a great quote.
War is when the government tells you who your enemy is.
War is when the government tells you who your enemy is. I mean, that's been the last since World War II, really. I mean,
revolution is when you figure it out for yourself. And we know who our enemy is. Our enemy is hate. Our enemy is racism. Our enemy is colonization. Our enemy is greed.
So I just want to pause here for a second just to say that for someone like me, I mean, I've never been like deeply involved with the Israel thing, and I never really had any reason to like or dislike Israel. I always thought, you know, I know plenty of Israelis; they're all good people, and I think what they're doing now is, Alex Jones said, it's really hurting their image in the world. Like people like me who were kind of on the fence before, are like, fuck these people. Like, what do they think they're doing? The arrogance of impunity is what Russell Dobular called it. And it's like, holy shit. They know that we're not going to do anything because of that chart I just showed you. How many billions and billions of dollars every year we funnel to that country. And I posted this graphic. I wish I had pulled it up for this session, but it's like a lady dragging a guy on a leash. And I put USA on the guy over the guy on the leash and Israel over the lady with the leash, because that's literally what our relationship is like with this country. But let me let Susan finish here.
And our enemy is silence.
I guess the point I was making is that for people like me who are on the fence, this has pushed me to the other side, you know, and it's like, why are you guys doing this? This is insane.
The silence of those who look away when you see crushed children, starving babies, wailing mothers, fathers digging through the rubble to try to find their families. This is unacceptable.
I mean, imagine if Putin was doing it.
Now disrupting.
Like Russia and China, like look around and name a war that Russia, like these guys are supposed to be our enemies. We're supposed to be so scared of them. What have they done in the world in the last 50 years? You know, I'm not saying they're innocent, you know, but if you stack them up next to the United States, I mean, there's just no comparison.
The narrative of the powerful. Fighting for justice can be lonely work. It can be exhausting, but nothing compared to what is happening in Gaza, in Rafah, for the Palestinian people that have been going through this for 75 years. Speaking inconvenient truths can lose you your livelihood.
Right.
It can lose you friends. It may lose you family. But I want you to look out now at this sea of umbrellas and people here, because we are your family. You are not alone. As he said, there are hundreds more across Manhattan, hundreds of thousands across the United States, millions globally who are standing for Palestine, for justice, for a ceasefire. Millions of people who will keep showing up, who will keep organizing, who will keep speaking out, who will be loud.
So if you're one of those people, congratulations. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. Like I'm not going out to protest or anything, but I'm trying to say what I can. And again, it's nothing. It's just what's right is right. Basically, I mean, we wouldn't allow anyone to do the kind of stuff that's being done. What drives me crazy too is they keep calling it a war, but they can't even get food in there. So who's getting arms? Like what war is happening? These people are starving to death. How are they getting weapons? They're not getting anything. They can't even get food. So the idea that this is a war with two sides fighting each other is completely insane, because the whole thing is blockaded, and the Israelis aren't even letting U.S. food shipments in, let alone weapons. So that, like, it's just, when you look at it through that lens, it's insane. HBOW says Marshall Plan re-European countries, basically ensuring U.S. primacy in the post-war economic framework of the West, for better or for worse. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And listen, I'm not one of those anti-capitalist people or anti-American in any way. I don't necessarily think American hegemony is a bad thing, or it wasn't before it was completely corrupted the way it is now. It's as an American, you see people get in trouble in other parts of the world, and it gives you comfort to know that we have like such deep tentacles, on some levels. I'm just being honest about that. By the same token, we've squandered that moral high ground. Like watching Tucker Carlson interview Putin, there was a couple opportunities where Putin could have said, like when Tucker confronted him about Evan Gershkovich, Putin could have easily gone, well, you guys have Daniel Hale in jail and Julian Assange and Edward Snowden's hiding out from the government, so he doesn't, like, the U.S. has no moral high ground against forces, authoritarian forces. And, based on the last couple of years, the propaganda has been so hardcore, it's made me question everything. I mean, even how I view Putin and Russia. It's like, Trump said it, why can't we be friends with Russia? Why? Because Dick Cheney wants fucking shale. That's why. Like what? These people are sociopaths, psychopaths. Like, do you not have enough money already, Dick Cheney? Like, you're gonna be dead in a couple of years. Like, don't you have like a dolphin heart or something? Like, what is going on? I mean, definitely doesn't have a dolphin heart. Maybe a badger heart or something. But the guy has like a makeshift heart or something. He's like, his blackened heart died already, and he's still out there trying to suck money out of country. It's fucking insane.